In the really serious injury cases or death cases, it's a state of shock. They don't know what to do. They're either trying to get through a death of a loved one, or they're in the hospital, or they're home trying to get healthy again to get back to work. And so in those situations, they're pretty beat up and concerned, and the counsel I give them is just stay the course here. You're going to be fine. We're going to get this thing moving. We're going to do all the due diligence, do all the investigation. We're going to do all the investigation we need to ensure that we get a proper and fair and just settlement for you. In the less serious wrecks, sometimes they're just angry that they had to miss 2 days of work. Their car's not fixed right. They had to come home early from work because they have a headache. They can't sleep at night, and so the attitude they have just varies from person to person and what type of wreck they're in. But what the common attitude is that what do we do next? What do we do? What's the best thing we can do? And I tell them all the time, the most important thing you can do is take care of your health. All these other things don't mean anything if you don't have your health. So you put getting your health back as the top priority. See your doctors, do what they say, and everything else will work out. The biggest mistake people make when they have a personal injury claim is they don't think they need to go see a doctor in the more minor cases, or cases they don't think they're hurt. And then what happens is they'll go 2 or 3 weeks without seeing a doctor, and they realize, I have a problem. And then what happens is insurance companies say, well, you waited so long to get treatment, you weren't really hurt. If you would have been hurt, you'd have gone to the doctor immediately to be checked out. So I recommend always that if you're in a wreck, no matter how minor, you should be checked out by either an ER doc or your primary care physician, and make sure that there's no problems. Document the things you do feel. Document you have my neck stiff, my back stiff. In the more serious cases, the mistake most people do is they don't seek legal counsel soon enough that we can preserve evidence of the scene of the wreck. We can preserve testimony from witnesses. Witnesses have a way of disappearing, and so we've recently had several cases where we hire former highway patrolmen to go out and investigate the case, take pictures, talk with the law enforcement officers. Highway patrolmen and law enforcement have a special language. They talk different to each other than they talk to the average citizen. So it's always great to have a qualified investigator get into the case. So don't procrastinate getting personal injury attorneys involved, so we can preserve the evidence, so we can present your case most favorable to you. There are a lot of personal injury attorneys. You can't listen to the radio, you can't watch the TV, you can't ride down the highway without seeing somebody who thinks they're the best personal injury attorney in the world. So how do you make that decision? One of the things that I think is helpful is just because you're the biggest doesn't mean you're the best. I think a local attorney who knows your community, attorney who knows the jurors, who knows the judges, who knows the individuals in this part of Oklahoma is a more appropriate person to select than someone who doesn't know Stillwater, doesn't know North Central Oklahoma, but they know Oklahoma City or Tulsa. And because you're just a number to them. You're just a file to them. They have cases all over the state of Oklahoma, and you don't know really who's going to work on your case. You might have a first-year law student or a first-year graduate be assigned your case, and the attorney you hired might not even know about your case. So I think that one of the things that are important for me is that you have a relationship with your attorney. You believe they have your back. You believe that they understand where you come from, who you are, and the community that you live in. If you have a serious personal injury claim, the last thing you need to worry about is paying a lawyer. The way the industry is set up is that in these serious wrecks where there's serious personal injury, is that lawyers are compensated on what they call the contingency. What that means is if we don't collect any money for the injured client, then we don't get paid any money. If we try the whole case and we're not successful, then you don't owe any money. The last thing a person wants to do who's injured is hire a lawyer and then owe them money too. And so as a result, over the years, over the decades, lawyers have devised a contingency contract whereby we get a percentage of what we collect. We spend money to have you to a specialist. We spend money to have an investigator. We hire experts. We advance all that money, and that will be paid for out of the settlement. If we don't get a settlement, you don't owe us any money. But your number one concern should be your health. Single, none other than that. Don't worry about anything. Don't worry about the money. You got to get back on your feet. You have a life to live. You have a job to get back to. You have a family to raise. You let Murray Law Firm worry about your personal injury case and paying and getting the bills taken care of. You get yourself better.